Welcome to JT Podcast, music podcast number 11.
11.
Yeah.
We're still doing it.
I know.
They told us we couldn't do it, and here we are.
I know. We made it to 11, the famed 11th podcast. It's a big milestone. No. Yeah, we're here. Another week.
Another week. What's going on? How do we start?
Well,
Call of Duty.
Colin's duties,
which I've started saying.
Call Duty. Michael transactions, as in micro transactions.
Michael transactions in Call of Duty.
Yep.
We are having a blast.
Yep.
The music video turned out great, which is already out by now.
Today is November 4th, so this is a week or two. Posted a week or two later, but let's talk about Call of Duty. Call of Duty is my favorite call-in out there. So I think for me, I love the game. I think we talked about last time. I love the campaign. Wasn't my favorite Call of Duty campaign, but I did enjoy it. There were some things that, Anyways, overall, really enjoyed it. Have been loving the multiplayer, and I've never been, you guys know me, I'm like, usually, growing up, I was like a Halo fanboy, not Call of Duty. But I remember watching like you and my brother play a lot of Modern Warfare 2. So just the look and feel of this game is nostalgic for me. Because even though that game, I know, sacrilegious, like Modern Warfare 2 wasn't my cup of tea back when in 2009. But I am absolutely loving this game. The gunsmithing is super realistic, which you can attest to. Like the gunsmithing is very detailed. What do they call it? Do they call it guns? Whatever
I think they do. Above your weapon, you
the creative class
gunsmith.
stuff is really fun and deep.
Yeah,
it's neat. It's fun.
I'm happy, but yeah, you're loving it too, right?
Yeah, I'm enjoying the multiplayer a lot. I loved Modern Warfare, the second reboot, or the first reboot, whatever.
It is weird.
So I really like this one because it's more of the same. Like in terms of the online play, and I'm sure Warzone's going to be fun to get back into. That was the most battle royale I've played since like Fortnite and PUBG was Warzone, and that was fun. Mm-hmm. But just having a lot of fun with the multiplayer. I'm having fun with iron sights specifically, and like letting that free up the other attachments because some guns' iron sights are really good. You don't need a red dot, so that's a lot of fun. The gun selection to pick from and whatever is really good, really deep, covers all there's a lot of overlap because all these guns essentially do the same thing, but it's still fun, and there's like different kind of characteristics to them, even just visually. Enjoying that all the way. The campaign was lackluster and was lame to me. I think it was not. I don't know what they're doing. I think they're trying to get too cute with it. There's two missions that are structured around kind of scavenging and crafting, which is
hated that.
Dumb. That's not Call of Duty. Call of Duty has always been like spectacle and action set pieces and cool moments and like warfare and battle. I guess
it's Michael Bay.
Not to sound callous. Yeah, it's like Michael Bay war.
Yeah,
and my big kind of thesis on why this game didn't have those is because there's been no big movies or big action scenes for them to rip off. Because Call of Duty, unapologetically, and I have no issue with it, have always taken their coolest moments are from things. Mm-hmm. Always. Like, it's no coincidence that cool kind of compound attack scene in Modern Warfare came after Zero Dark 30, or different things, or like anything from Call of Duty 2 or any of the World War II ones, like come from all sorts of movies. I don't know. It's just like, I don't know. So I think that's a big part of why they maybe tried to stretch it and do these cool things with the scavenging ones. And there's one too many sniper missions with like them telling you what to do. Yeah. That's why All Gillied Up was sick, because it was such a break from the mold. It was good pacing. It was like, oh, this is slow. I can slow down now. Mm. And like you're kind of LARPing as like this special operator dude, and you're being told how to do it. So it really feels like you're in the moment. But like, they're still trying to live with that. Like they're still trying to stretch that moment on, or that type of gameplay on, and it's not working anymore. Like maybe once a game, but like
I think I know what you're saying specifically with All Gillied Up. That was a famous mission, but it's like the whole mission is like that. Yeah. Whereas there are moments in this campaign where they try to interject some All Gillied Up, but it's in the middle of like firefighting. Mm-hmm. And even though I disagree with you, I agree with what you're saying, but I still liked it.
Yeah,
like I still enjoyed the campaign because I did like the close quarters combat when you were going through the buildings and stuff in the campaign specifically, like they changed the. Like you could feel, I don't know how to describe it from a game developer's perspective, but they changed the mechanics where you feel like you're moving slower through the building.
That was all in the last game, though. Like, there's nothing new here.
Oh, that's right. It was in the last game, but the last game did a little better. I definitely enjoyed the campaign of the first Modern Warfare reboot. I had so much fun with that campaign. But I still enjoyed myself with this one. I did get really frustrated on the infamous vehicle mission and the crafting thing. Yeah. I was so mad that I couldn't take out the Juggernaut dudes. Like, I had to craft. That was stupid, being shoehorned into crafting in Call of Duty.
The big bad, or the way the game ends is you taking it's a cat and mouse game with two heavy troop types.
Yeah.
While you're trying to hack a bomb.
It was so stupid, especially after playing cat and mouse with Graves in his tank, which I was fine with. That felt like Call of Duty still. Like you're trying to blow up this guy in his tank, playing a little cat and mouse, but then doing it, that
was cheesy. And then you have a very simple sniper shot to kill the big bad, and the game's over. And it's like, I don't know, like warfare. I mean, I know like modern warfare now is these like clandestine operation type things, which the game does do, but it's like, I don't know. I think what people have come to enjoy in the single player campaigns was these like outlandish set pieces, like storming the White House because Russians have invaded it. Like, it's stupid, but I'm gonna go in through the West Wing and take the White House back for America or something stupid.
Dude,
you know?
I saw an article that was titled, or something about it was saying, I think specifically shit on the Michael Bay moments in this campaign. It's like, no, those are the good moments. I want, like, when all the guys walk into the room and they're super alpha macho, like, yes, give me that.
What is this person looking for? Art house?
Give me alpha male Michael Bay. That's what Call of Duty is. I'm not sure. I like the sprinkling of realism in there and like stealth, and that's always fun. But like, we want spectacle at the end of the day for Call of Duty. So I wanted more of those moments.
And memorable set pieces. Like there wasn't there wasn't like a map or a world set piece. You know, like there's like, I don't know, like I'm trying to think, like we're in Chicago, a Chicago building for some reason. That could be anywhere. You're in like the streets of Mexican City. I don't know if it's Mexico City, and that there's potential there, but it's like so cat and mouse, and you only see solo them. Like there's just weird things. And then the Mexican U.S. border was actually pretty interesting. That was pretty like kind of cool. I'm like racking my brain though. I mean the oil rig and the boat was cool, but that was like. That's probably the highlight of the campaign, honestly, is that mission. Because that's like, And
it feels like it looked very similar to like the boat from, what is that, Shipment?
Yeah,
or not Shipment. No, the Modern Warfare map, right?
Yeah.
The OG Modern Warfare map.
Yeah, it's the opening for COD 4.
Oh, right.
It's
that's
very
right.
evocative of that.
I loved the moments. If you played the campaign, there were a lot of moments where you come across a map that was like kind of recycled from, which I love those moments. But still, like they were recycled maps, but also a fresh take on them, which I really appreciated. But I really like most of the maps so far in multiplayer and ending the campaign too. It feels good.
I'm looking forward to what they do with it. And it's really interesting to see a game that has so much content in it that they aren't doing the season battle pass yet, which I was like, cool, good on you guys. So like, because it's like there's no content to release because there's so much content in the game already.
Yep.
And that's like cool. Obviously, Overwatch 2 is a weird one, but it's still point remains the same. Like Overwatch 2, the new in it is also justified by paying for the stupid battle pass and unlocking things through a pay gate. So I don't know, good on COD, I guess. That's good for them. But obviously the song, we can talk about that project a little bit.
Yeah.
Obviously the big move was to bring back the old motifs and kind of reimagine, remix what you had before.
Yeah, because the Modern Warfare 2 rap from 2009 is such an iconic JT. I feel like what makes that project so epic, first of all, is I love in the intro to the video when you put in the title the video you've all been waiting for. I love that because even though we had a small, obviously much smaller fan base at the time, all we had made up to that point was the Halo rap, the World at War rap,
it was
and
like
the
Left 4 Dead and GTA. It was like
Left 4 Dead and GTA 4 raps. and that was like our 5th project. And I remember we had a small following that was actually looking forward to it, but it's still just, I love that, seeing that in the original video. The video you've all been waiting for, and we'd only made 4 projects before. But anyways, what I was going to say is what I love about that song is like, it was still nerdcore and goofy, and like obviously the whole video with the live action with me and my brother, which is super cringy and awesome in the best way. It was also kind of a badass project too, especially with the production. For me, with the beat, I tried to make something a little more cool and badass. I feel like it was the first step in, you know, how our version of nerdcore has changed over like the past decade. It was like one of the first moments of me being like, yeah, this is like dorky and fun, but I can actually like try hard and make it cool too. It was like,
it's a good meshing.
One of the early steps of us starting to take ourselves more seriously. And even with you, I'm joking about it, but in the beginning of the video, saying this is the video you've been waiting for, it was like the beginning of us being like, we got something here. So for all those
there's
reasons,
like a confidence and swagger that we had then.
Yeah.
From like, okay, we got a few under our belt. Obviously very naive, but like still like there was
we've got fans now.
Yeah.
Like we have people who are looking forward to our content.
And just in terms of like how that confidence translated into what we made, I guess. Like that confidence in the creation or in the process of creating, or the bold things, or settling into ourselves in a way, you know.
Yeah.
So that was it's a cool project, and we did I think a 5-year anniversary of it, which that 5-year anniversary release is super old now.
Yeah, and also has now outdated footage of me like being. But I love it. I love it. It's so cool to like look back and see how we've grown. Like I've said this before, but like I hardly cringe at myself anymore. If I do, it might be from something don't get me wrong, I still cringe at myself plenty, but with old projects, I really don't like at all anymore. Just because I see like, you know, our early potential and like trying new things. So yeah, that and I had so much fun making this song too because of all those nostalgic reasons.
Yeah.
And I watched the original video a bunch just to like inspire myself, and as I've said before, plagiarize myself, you know, see old ideas that I was working with in the song and kind of like trying to, I guess, repolish them.
The video's already out by now, the time you're watching this, but I am curious how many people are gonna comment or be sad that the chorus just wasn't the same. Especially with the little tease at the beginning.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I in my head I'm like, you know what would be fun is if this was performed at NPC, but it was just the old chorus with the new verses.
Dude, it would sound really sick, because if you guys have watched the video, I put a tease of the original chorus in the beginning of the song. Not really a tease. I guess it would be a tease for people who are expecting the OG chorus, but the direction of the song catered for, let's just do a new chorus. Plus the instrumental itself obviously was different. But I had to put it in there somewhere. So I got the Call of Duty is truly the best game. It also sounded really good. That was like only the second take I think I did, and it obviously I slapped a little auto-tune on there, but it still sounded really good. But I'm sure some people will be bummed, but you know, hey, go back and listen to the original.
That's such a funny comment whenever we do a remaster, remix, reimagined. Mm-hmm. It's like, but the older one's better. It's like, all right, go listen to that.
Then go listen to it. And I totally respect that. I remember one of the first remasters. Yeah, I'll just talk about this. Take your call. Or I can pause it. No, I'll keep going. I'll talk about this. I remember the first remaster, or one of the first remasters I did was not even that long after it had come out, was a remaster of the Hanzo versus Genji rap battle. And I remember just trying to employ some of the new mixing techniques I had done with it and stuff, or that I had learned to the original version, and just it was missing something. So the point being, I totally understand. Also, an infamous example of a remaster not being as good is the original Star Wars films when George Lucas went back. And so I totally get... So what I was going to say is when I originally did that remaster of Hanzo vs. Genji, and we were working with this animator who was pretty vocal about, I don't like this new version compared to the original. And I was really frustrated because... here I was in my head thinking, how dare anyone like the original more because I'm pouring my blood, sweat, and tears into this remaster. But I have since come to terms with the fact that, hey, sometimes there's just a certain, sorry to sound like a cock for saying this, je ne sais quoi with the original as opposed to a remaster. Even with that remaster, if you get to, and I'm not just talking about songs, obviously, anything.
Yeah.
You get to remaster, you get to make it your original vision, and that's really cool. But at the end of the day, you just got to respect that, like, you know, just like with Join Us for a Bite.
It's like the concept of once the art is out, it's out.
It's out and it's
there is a unique situation where you can retouch it, redo it, but I think, you know, I think the fact that people enjoyed it one way is an interesting thing. So I think that's why, like, reimagined and remixed is different than remastered.
Yeah.
So I think that's where expectations can be changed, and so there's definitely a situation where, you know, we started so amateurish that something that's remastered from a certain point can be wholly different, like very different because of the skill gap. But it's still remastered, and so I think that's kind of like it's objectively better. I don't know, but like also just go listen to the old one; it still exists for you.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I think that's just more communicating and finding out how to like communicate that with like the little tags, reimagined, remastered, remixed, or whatever. But I don't know. It's always fun to see those comments, and it's always fun to see comments. I was like, all right, good. Go back to the old one then.
Go back to the old one. That's fine. Yeah. That's totally cool.
I just don't. There's like half the people saying that are just saying that, but there's a lot of people that are saying that like this shouldn't exist. And it's well, it does, and you don't have to watch it.
Yeah, if you don't like it, that's
it
fine.
Doesn't change it, ruin, or it doesn't, you know, it only enhances it for the people it enhances. But for you, if it doesn't enhance it, and for some reason it makes it worse, I don't know, go back to the original, and it still exists, and it's I don't know.
Yeah, no, for sure.
There's I don't know how much you talked, but there's like very few comments that upset us.
No, I was going to say, even with Join Us for a Bite, I know that inherently some people will like the original more, like I've just been saying, and I've come to terms with that. Some people will just like the original more. But no, for sure, on the comments, specifically with Join Us for a Bite, like all the comments were like, that I saw were like, oh, you made a song I loved even better, which obviously,
that one was super positive.
Is the goal of a remaster.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I guess the whole point I was trying to make personally is that I have come to terms.
Yeah, I don't know what I walked into on either, so I just kind of took it and ran with it. I was just kind of
going off, dude. I guess I've come to terms with the fact that, hey, if you don't like us anymore, that's okay. I've come to terms with that.
Yeah.
That's okay. Or, yeah.
Been doing this for a long time, so and it's music. Music is very subjective to tastes more so than a lot of other media.
Yep.
And we've done it for a long time.
We have.
And we've done it consistently in the sense that, like, I don't know, your favorite mainstream artist, you know, they might disappear for a year or two, and then, oh, here they are. And, you know, they don't get old as fast. You know, there's a different element at play here. So there's a lot. We understand all that. But yeah. What else?
Call of Duty.
Yeah. I think it was a fun project overall. And I don't know. It's just like I've mentioned it before, but it's funny to me how well it does on the channel compared to the indie games and the horror stuff. It's like it's such an outlier. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, if we had a Witcher song that popped off, it's like, oh, Witcher's AAA and mainstream, but it's also kind of like there's horror, monster elements. Like, okay, it's over here. But like Call of Duty is like macho guns and action movie shit. So it's just funny to me that it always does well, but it also is one of the biggest game franchises in the world, so it should be no surprise. It
is, and there's definitely, like, obviously most people know JT Music, Join Us for a Bite, FNAF stuff. Like, I think as a broad populace, it's that, and probably like Cuphead and Sands of Papyrus. But there's also a really deep tie with our name, Doom, Call of Duty.
Yeah.
And
BioShock.
Halo,
but again,
obviously.
Halo. But I think you mentioned earlier there's some articles saying that it's too Michael Bay.
Yeah,
it's like that's the best stuff, and that's like, what do they want from that? Do they want art? Like This is Call of Duty. This isn't like high art. Like what the even the story mode. Like what the I shouldn't be trying to say anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just action movie. It's put me in the action movie for a little bit, you know?
Dude, you know what I think is going to be? This might just be a generational thing. It might not be unique to millennials. In fact, it probably isn't. I could just be a huge idiot, but which I am, of course. But I feel like millennials, we have this. We prize true art and high art, sort of like how millennials like kind of invented and had a love for like high art house horror. Yeah. Like millennials have this thing about like, oh, it's gotta be real art, dude. Whereas sometimes, yeah, with a game or even with a song, it doesn't have to be this piece of high fashion art. You can just make it for the sake of make a Michael Bay spectacle, explosions and rockets and fucking heads blowing off and stuff. Like sometimes you just want some good old popcorn entertainment.
I wonder if there's a pressure to legitimize all the media millennials like, because I feel like millennials weren't the first, but as a bulk, we're the first to like, oh, we like all these things from our childhood still. We're not like casting them off because we're adults anymore. But it's like trying to figure out why that cartoon was so good, and then like finding the high art in it. I don't know. Trying to just I'm grasping at straws here, but
there's something to be said.
But
analyzing our own generation.
But we just watched the movie Heat last night.
Dude.
And speaking of a movie that is art but isn't stuffy, I don't know. Heat is a hard movie to explain. Like it's not a hard movie to explain. It's actually very plain. It's just a very good film, very well made.
Dude,
it's like people at their prime. It's
Robert De Niro's
force of a million talented people. Basically.
Al Pacino's, Ashley
Kilmer.
Judd's, Val Kilmer's. So, dude, I think there was everything about that movie is so good. It's like it's not
3
even,
hours
it's
long
like a drama
too,
more than it is an action, but it's almost more of a drama.
There's a lot of parallel relationship storylines in that. For those that don't know, Heat is a heist movie. So if you play GTA 5, all the heists from GTA 5 are basically ripped off of that movie. And a few other LA real life heists. So it's
if you enjoy GTA and you like the cutscenes, that's what Heat is. Heat is GTA without the gameplay. It's pretty just much the cutscenes. It's so good.
I mean, there's even a Lester. Like Lester was based off of someone from this game, and like there's so many things from GTA. You're like, holy shit! It was just they took it from Heat, which is what I was talking about earlier about Call of Duty, just taking their things from movies. It's like it's cool, just do it. It's I mean, the movie's got the good ideas, the game's got the like all these like it's like science and art is like all kind of intermingling and just becoming creative and productive in its own self, like robots or lasers. I don't know how that stuff works. Like, I know how that's I don't know how that stuff works, but I'm saying like it's just cool how art and science advance each other, or in the other sense, in a similar way, how video games and film can kind of bounce off each other and push one or the other. Heat, awesome. We're watching it because we want to do a Payday song with Rustage and do it live action.
Yep, we want to do a heist music video. We're going to. It's already in the talks. Whether or not it's with Rustage, but we've got him on board. We just haven't actually hit the ground running with it yet. But we're gonna we were actually perfect callback. We were talking about remasters and re-envisioning songs. We're gonna do a similar thing for the Payday 2 Rap, which I'm a Capitalist. That's the title from a few years ago, many years ago now, 2015 or something. We're going to kind of the theme of the beat was kind of this Mission Impossible dun 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 like remixed into this hip hop beat, which I'm gonna try to do like the same thing I did with the Modern Warfare 2 beat, just essentially the same but kind of a new take on it. And then it would be so sick if we can get Rustage in there. I didn't even know how to stop. My Rustage impersonation is sick. Now I just want to hear Rustage do impersonation.
Watched Heat to kind of get inspired and kick off that intrigue. I know he was going to like it. I've loved that movie. I've seen it twice now, and it's one of the. It's like I said, it's 3 hours, but it doesn't feel like it. It's just like you're living in it, and the tension that builds is so good, and the Al Pacino, Robert De Niro dynamic is so good.
Great ass.
Yeah, pretty much.
Best line in the movie.
There's so many good subtle lines. Great acting too. Like just like
the acting.
Like a master class on like subtle things and like,
dude,
I don't know.
Al Pacino's and Robert De Niro's nail the nuance and subtlety so well.
Yeah.
Like, and without overacting too, because you had mentioned that some of Al Pacino's lines were kind of cringy, which I could see it being interpreted
I think it's
that
just
way.
the great ass part, which...
The great ass. But, dude, I don't feel like he was overacting at all. He was totally in character because he's got a great ass. And he's pissed off at the same time because he's trying to get info out of this guy.
Or just a line where she's like, Al Pacino and his wife, or they're like, they're kind of fighting. It's like, there's explosive moments in their fight, but it's like, he's like, we're passing each other on the down wave of our marriage.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know, there's a line where she's like, I had dinner cooked, and he's like, oh, fuck, I'm sorry that I wasn't here. The chicken was overcooked, and he threw the chicken. I don't know. It didn't make sense, but it was just like such anguish, and he was like being a dick, and he was tired, and he like regretted it as he said it.
Dude,
and it didn't make sense. It was like that felt real, I guess.
That was the subtlety, because I've done that before, where I'm in a fight with my significant other, and I start to say something because I know it's gonna cut deep, but it's douchey, and like knowing as I'm saying it, like especially during my drinking days, knowing it's douchey coming out of my mouth, and then just being like, the way he trailed off, like just one of the examples of like the subtlety that Al Pacino nails, especially in like A Declining Marriage. That movie, Heat. So good. Oh, and we watched Con Air recently. Dude, those that you showed me, two of my most favorite movies.
80s and 90s movies are so good. There's so much good stuff in there.
Yeah.
And like there's such a nice grounded Hollywood movie making feel to them.
Yes.
Instead of, I don't know, maybe just the illusion is too good these days, but I like the feeling of a set and stuff, like to me that's cool.
There's also a different, it's subtle, and I can't really put my direct finger on it, but there is a different look and feel compared to stuff being shot on film.
That too, yeah.
There's like a little bit more graininess, and also now that we know more about like cameras and lenses, like our cinematographer was telling us about like bokehs, which are like the lens flare kind of reflect in a lens.
Yeah, you're not going to see it here,
but noticing that the bokeh, the little shape of like when things are out of focus from lens flare, are different for different lenses. So like watching those classic Hollywood movies and like being able, because those lenses were so beautiful, especially you can tell the shots that are anamorphic lenses, which we used on our Red Dead 2 live action music video, are like the very classic quintessential filmic looking lenses, and they're just like the whole movie, it's all there. It's all there. Go watch Heat.
It's great. I'd recommend
so
it.
Good.
But we've all kind of touched on high art as a thing.
High art.
And this isn't maybe the best segue, but they're, surprise, surprise, and this is probably 2 weeks old now, but also we made a podcast about drama that was 2 weeks old when it came out. When that came out, there was new drama, and then probably by the time this came out, there will be new drama, and in the nerdcore community. And
oh boy, what's the drama? JT Music is gonna solve it all.
And I won't say names because I actually haven't been following it. I mean, there's just beef, I guess. There's just beef and people making rap battles against each other, and it's like it's not even too blordy. Even it's kind of like too serious, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know. There's like, it's just like this stuff isn't cool. It is cool. I think what we do is cool as shit. Like, don't get me wrong, but like this is like the self-awareness is not there.
Yeah.
I think where it just is like, Jesus, stop. Like, this is super cringy. You are making yourself look bad. You're making everyone else look bad. You're making each other look bad. It's negative energy. Yep. It's just like, why are you guys making these rap beefs and like exposing each other's DMs and like lying about things that didn't happen? And it's just like, I don't know what the ages are of these people or not, but it's just like grow the fuck up and like handle things like adults, communicate. Like, I don't know why there's like this like angsty fucking drama. It's like it's high school shit. It's middle school shit. Like,
well,
it's insane.
I was gonna say, I haven't done that much research into it, but I have looked a little bit at what's been going on, and it definitely gives me a lot of like early 20s energy. Just young
Not all the players are that young, though.
That's true. No,
I'm
not just pawning it off. Oh, they're just young. And I'm also not trying to say, oh, that's so juvenile. I can get the rap beef even in the nerdcore scene when it's kind of, tongue in cheek and kind of like to bolster each other because, hey, people love drama. People love drama. So I get it if it's like kind of a businessy move and like kind of doing it for fun. But yeah, some of this shit is getting pretty heated.
Well, there's a lot of comments too from fans. And I think they're even like, this isn't it.
Yeah.
Hey man, love you, but this isn't it on both sides. And it's like, geez, it's bad when the fans are just like, dude, stop.
Yeah.
You're not. This isn't a good look for you. It's just like,
dude,
I don't know. It's so weird.
It is very weird because at least with like quintessential 90s hip hop rap beef, there was like gang stuff involved, gang violence, being brought up in communities of that stuff. But with nerdcore, it's weird. It's like we're rapping about video games and comic books and anime and then getting into like serious, again, if it's like for fun and to bolster views, I get it. But like when it's serious, going after each other personally, like that shit is cringy. That shit is pure cringe to me.
Yeah.
And again, like young energy. I know not everybody partaking in it is, but I feel like it's just, somebody says one thing. And here's the other thing. It's like, it's almost kind of a shame to see like so much talent going into this kind of energy.
Yeah.
Because there's so many immensely talented like people in the anime nerdcore scene that I've seen that I've only just broached the waters of, which I feel bad about that I haven't looked into it that much. Like there's a lot of names now that I'm just not familiar with, which I of course don't mean any disrespect by, but it is kind of, to me, and I guess it's not really a waste of energy because even if you're working on a diss track, like you're still honing your craft, you're still creating for sure. And I love that. Like I love people creating. I've talked many times about how even though I said the word cringy, I hate the whole like cringe culture thing because it discourages people from making, and hey, you got to create. But I don't know. It can be, as an artist, it can be kind of frustrating to see like, I don't know, talent put into this stupid energy, this negative energy. But again, I also don't know all the details of the beef, so maybe some of these
even and I feel like I know just a little bit more than you, but it's like I could look into it, but I don't want to. I don't care. I'll look into a few tweet threads and kind of piece it together and like quote tweets on quote tweets and kind of go down the rabbit hole. And it's just like, also we're just living on Twitter, and it's just like, it's like a weird form of hearsay and like filling in the lines between these fucking tweets, not actual like human interactions and like a lot of backdoor stuff in DMs and then tweets and let's share the DMs. Also, like, don't share private communication with people. That's just like super tacky and just bad, and like it's just not a good look for anyone, and it's like a breach of trust. That's the shadiest shit when people come out, even if they're in the right. I'm trying to think of an example, but when people like just show DMs, that's like, even if you're in the right, there's like something in my head that's like, oh, you're kind of slimy. I mean, there's obviously a context for everywhere. Like, I mean, if there's some form of abuse or like proving something that like, obviously that kind of stuff, but like kind of like petty squabbles or like things of honor and respect between people, whatever, like that can get a little, just basic trust, like kind of like work trust, I guess, like when it's work stuff, or whatever, like I think that's where it's different. And dude, I don't know, don't do that. Was it Trisha Paytas tried to do that with H3 and she just
exposed herself. It was so funny.
He's like a 50% after profits, not 50% of sales.
It was so funny. She tried to like it, just totally. She thought that by her releasing them, that would automatically make her look better. It's like, no, you just shot yourself in the foot. But what I love is like, let's say this is what makes me laugh about the whole nerdcore beef stuff is like, we get into a beef with somebody, I don't know, like flipping Bryce High comes back and drops a big ass diss track on JT Music. He doesn't even call us JT Music. He calls us JT Machinima.
JT
and
Sick.
Yeah. And we come back and we make a diss track. And we make a diss track on Brian. We love Brian, by the way. We're just hypothetical. And then like this diss track going after Brian, going after his amazing, lovely family, and just being hostile. And then the next week it's like Ant-Man rap. That makes me laugh. It's like the idea of a diss track, this aggressive, hostile, crossing lines diss track, and then just like Captain America versus Winter Soldier rap battle, like something like that. Like it's just, I don't know, just to me the absurdity of it when like
it's also just like life's too short to waste
it on that kind of energy.
Yeah, to just have just I don't know, to be mad.
Yeah.
And to look for drama and all that stuff. Like, it's just like, I don't know. Life's too short. And it's funny what your example is almost an example of that. It's like beef, life goes on, week later, project, life's going on.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, you're like, if say that was our real thing that we just did, it's like the like life and our job is like showing us like, this is stupid. Like, you're already on to the next thing. Like, what was that worth? Was that worth it? Probably not.
Also, the tough thing with diss tracks is like nobody's gonna change their mind after a diss track because music is so subjective. Even if you have one rapper lyrically do a better diss track, like the other person's fans are still gonna think they won. Like, I don't see any like. There's no solving a rap beef.
I mean, I feel like someone in the like a fan in the middle will just feel like one person did better.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're gonna be like, you know what? I'm done being a fan of that other person. I mean, it's possible, but I don't see that being a thing.
Yeah. This reminds me of a hot take I have, an extreme hot take. This is gonna get Skullcruncher 13 canceled. So I'm going to try to talk about this. I'm not going to speak it in a super hot takey way. I'll try to speak it in a nuanced way. But I do think when Eminem and MGK were beefing back in 2018, you guys remember, I personally think that MGK came out on top. Well, ultimately, objectively, Eminem won because his response got more views. The consensus was Eminem destroyed MGK. And of course, Eminem is one of the greatest rappers alive. But what I liked about MGK, first of all, I thought his diss track sounded better. I thought the beat was sick. I thought the delivery was like, it had this young, hungry, angry energy. He was going after Eminem for like clapping at him over some tweets from a long ass time ago. So I thought that MGK was already kind of in the right over that because Eminem was like coming after from some tweets he made about Haley like a long time ago. So MGK, the point of his diss track was like, yo, what the fuck, man? And he also had like, dude, the beginning of the song, he says, give me some fucking clippers. This guy's beard is weird. And in one of my favorite Slim Shady songs, Business, he says at the end of the song, till we grow beards, get weird and disappear, which I didn't notice. Probably the OG hardcore Eminem fans, I'm sure, noticed that. But I didn't notice that till years later. And I had already thought MGK was better. But that opening line made it even better. Like, oh, you did get old, get weird, and disappear and grow a beard. So I just felt that the disses that MGK actually went after Eminem were very, very personal about, like, you're trying to get me blocked, you're coming after me, whereas Eminem's were, like, to me, for the most part, really superficial, and, you got a man bun and stuff like that. I just felt overall that MGK had a more aggressive and better actual disses, even though Eminem is mechanically a much better rapper, and MGK even said that. He even says, nobody's gonna, you're the greatest rapper alive. He says that in the song. Like, I know you're gonna kick my ass. But also, I just had, even though I do think he's a tool and he's said and done some questionable things, I respected the fact that he went after Eminem. Like, that is like literally a death sentence. Like, there are people who will kill you over that. So, and here I am saying my hot take that I thought MGK's diss was actually a little better. I don't think he blew him out of the water. That's where my nuance is. I don't think MGK like stomped out Eminem. I just objectively as a musician and lyrically, I think it was just a better crafted like diss track. If you're gonna diss someone, I think that's how you do it. But So that being said, I should actually, before I just judge all the nerdcore
check 'em out.
diss tracks, I should check it out. Or one's gonna get made on me.
I mean, I watched them. They're all like, well, they're all talented. Well,
Oh yeah,
songs.
they're super. Yeah, no.
Which I mean, good on them for. I mean, they're all good. Like all good. There's no questioning that.
And that's the problem is they're all good. So how can you say who wins?
Yeah. And I don't also know the background. I don't know these people personally. I don't know where they like come from, their points, their pain points, their strengths, their story, what they do currently. Largely, it's like so. It's just like I don't know anything about this. Yeah. So it's to me, it's hard to understand what the things are about. The drama, the diss is like with that, but. I don't know. I think it comes down to Twitter is a cesspool. I think people live on it too much. I think people put too much value into the time on that platform or get lost in it. It's like living like the avatar is them, and the words that they say is like I don't know. It's just like your personality isn't Twitter. You on Twitter, it's like you're a person, and like 9 times out of 10 we meet anyone in person. Almost I'd say 9.5 times out of 10 you meet people in person. It's a whole different thing. It's a whole different thing, and it's always positive, and it leads to being positive, or at least starts pretty good, and then it can go one way or the other, but it's most likely always going to be positive. And I don't know, Twitter's a weird thing, and I think we can kind of transition to the whole weird other drama with Elon Musk and his $8 blue checks and all this stuff. And it's a weird thing. There's definitely like naturally in today's world, there's a line drawn in the sand, and you're either with us or you're not on both sides. And it's just like, I don't know, nuance is not a thing. Mm-hmm. Like I'm not super researched on it, but like from what I've seen on Elon, like he's trying to, in his head, he thinks, or what he's communicated is that, Twitter is the new public forum. And so it should be open, I guess. Yeah. I don't know. And so there's obviously problematic with fake news and stuff, but he's also targeting ads that like there's a lot of ads that present one-sided thing or fake news that do divide people. And so that's a part of that's like something he's also trying to do. So I don't know. Yeah. Like there's nuance there where it's like he is addressing that, and I don't know how effective that is. And his trust isn't really that high right now, even for people who are lukewarm on him. It's like it's also a weird thing because it's like now I'm one of the weirdos defending him. There's like this meme that always goes out of someone jumping in front of a bullet, and it's like valid criticism. Someone shooting the gun is valid criticism. Elon Musk is the person standing back, and then weird nerds on the internet are jumping in front of the bullet. Yeah. And it's like if you say anything nuanced or you say anything that isn't like a harsh critique on this guy, you're instantly the weird nerd jumping from the bullet. And
weird nerd, alt-right, MAGA douchebag. Yeah.
Well, not even that. It's just weird nerd because I don't know. I don't think Elon Musk is the point where people associate him with like alt-right MAGA people, but those people are like rah-rah because he's opening up for free speech or whatever. But I don't know. I mean, I think he's shooting himself in the foot. Like, just shut the fuck up. Stop tweeting like memes and stuff.
Yeah.
Also,
he tarnished him.
And I feel like if he can be done well and not allowing a voice of hate and other like just negativity, I think the notion of making this a public space where all like it's just where nothing's like suppressed or censored, is like, okay, cool, that's fine, that's fair. But you can't say you're opening up a public forum and then charging people $8 a month obviously it's for blue check marks, but it's like blue check marks to verify people so that they're not bots, not for verifying a journalist or a public. And also it's not clear. Like there's so much people are reading and interpreting what they want, but I also think that maybe they're reading it and no one understands what exactly he's trying to do or what he wants. Yeah. And so people are trying to make sense of it. So it's all a mess. It's like, I don't know. But I think my bottom line is there is a weird line that has been drawn that if you don't completely hate this man, you're now a weird nerd on the internet. You can't there's no nuance, and that's nothing new on the internet. Like the fact that there's no nuance on the internet is a very real thing. Because if you ever bring something up nuanced, you're automatically far over there or far over there, depending on whoever's talking. Yep. It's like Twitter's a fucking echo chamber.
Dude, you know what, Elon, is a great lesson that how you conduct yourself matters so much. Because I'm one of those nuanced people with Elon. As you guys might know, we used to be, I would still say we're Elon fans. Sorry if you're going to cancel us. We are Elon fans, but we used to be diehard Elon fans. We made a music video.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't. I don't know if I call us fans or even apologists. It's just
yeah,
like,
we're not apologists.
I think he's doing cool things, and he's also being an idiot.
Yeah, so
and he's being problematic, and
he
should chill out.
Even though I do think fundamentally, I do. This might sound like a hot take, but most of the things, aside from like him being a gung ho capitalist, like there are certain things about like he just cares about advancing the human race. You can disagree with me on that, but I think I've nailed Elon Musk pretty perfectly when I say all he cares about is in general advancing the human race. Like he pours when we did the rap on him, we did so much research on his entire history. He has poured everything. He pours his entire being into like SpaceX, Tesla, making renewable energy. Like the stuff he's done is really incredible, and he is definitely going to leave behind a huge legacy. But what he has done to that legacy by being this cringy, fucking obnoxious meme lord is so sad to me. Because he's so brilliant, a self-made rocket scientist. He's going to go down in history as one of the most brilliant human beings ever. Disagree with me if you want, but he will go down in history as one of the most brilliant human beings. He's done so much, and he's such a fucking tool. It pisses me off. He's like, I've made this comparison before, and maybe this comparison's cringy, but I don't care. He's the nerdy kid in class, not the nice nerdy kid, the nerdy kid with an edge who's got a chip on his shoulder, who makes one joke that everybody laughs at, and then he keeps trying to make that joke, and everyone's like, this kid isn't, he's kind of hostile. Like, what the fuck? Shut up, dude. Yeah. He's that kid. He's that kid sitting at the back of the class. I'm not going to make any more edgy jokes.
No,
Elon upsets me. I'm very upset.
Yeah, he's a weird guy. There's a devil advocate I've been seeing a lot of pop up is like people like shitting on him because like he didn't do that. He has a company full of people and blah blah blah. It's like, yeah, of course. Like like if that's what your counter is to him, that's just dumb. That's not helping you your argument. So if you're listening, that's a counter you've used. Don't use that. Like I think his treatment of his workers and stuff like that's fair game. Go after that. But I think saying that like he isn't this one man company doing everything, it's like, yeah, no shit. Like what point is that? But
the man because the man works himself to the bone. Reference to a JT music song. The man works himself to the bone, so I can see how he would expect that of other people. It's like, dude, that's just not realistic.
Yeah,
but
I think the toxic startup thing still exists, I'm sure, but I think people more know their worth and know their limits. Like, no, fuck that. I'm not going to do that. Yeah. I think there was like some job listing for community manager and someone listed it and like listed all the things that the community manager had to do. And it was like 5 different disciplines of like things, like accounting, community managing, video editing, like graphic design, like all these different things. And it's like, I don't know. Like, I think that, I don't know. It's a weird situation where those expectations are kind of shitty and unrealistic, but it's also like, I've also lived and done that myself where I wasn't the owner of the thing, where I was an employee. And I don't know what is okay and what isn't, but I feel like I definitely hit my limit very fast at that job, doing all sorts of different things and, not being paid well. It's like also doing the same things, all those same multidiscipline stuff for myself and getting the, like, like I think it's such a few things, especially in a startup. It's like 1 or 2 or whoever owns, like that's where the toxic grind. Yeah, that's where that's fine because you guys are like owners, and investors. Like they benefit from the stuff put in. Employees don't. And I think there's a disconnect there. And I think generally Elon Musk, on top of all his negative stuff, is just super disconnected from humanity. Also, which is ironic that he's like trying to do things for humanity to be okay in the long run or whatever. And also he doesn't care about the humans now that are doing that, like that are doing this for him, his employees and the factory workers and all these different things. So it's like, I think that's the disconnect that a lot of people don't like and that are the red flags for them, which is totally fair too. Like on top of the edgelord shit, like it's not just bad memes like that makes Elon Musk problematic.
No,
it's,
for sure, it's
that
things,
stuff, but
other practices. Yep. He I was gonna say something else. I can't remember. Oh yeah, just how it's a very toxic thing in American culture. I'm sure that's elsewhere, but very much here. Like specifically with startup culture, this vibe that you're new, you're fresh out of college, you're young, you're in your early 20s, you need to prove yourself. And that's not even just startup. That's everywhere you work, anywhere you get a job. You have to prove yourself. That opens the door for me, your employer, to completely take advantage of you and exploit your youthful energy. And you're not going to get any worth out of this, but oh sure, you need the experience, so you need it on your resume.
I do think there's worth. It's like, fuck, they want me to do everything. It's going to burn me out. But it's also like, you know what? I can do this and learn a lot probably.
Yeah.
You know, like there's a risk reward there, I think, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, for sure. No,
like,
definitely. You do have to earn your keep at any job, but I just know that whole culture.
Well, not even earning your keep. It's more so like it's toxic, but it's like if you're aware of that and you're like, fuck it, I'm going to do it for a year. I'm going to try to do it for a year.
Yeah.
And it's like you learn so many different things in such a condensed amount of time. Like I do look at that year and a half or almost a year and a half, 2 years, kind of just overall with that marketing company, and it sucked and it burnt me out. But it's like there's lessons every day, or lessons from that period that come up every day today, and it's like it was super valuable, and the knowledge I got, you know, in a sense was worth it. So I think like, you know, out of the gate as a young 20-year-old out of college, like trying to like not cherry pick, but try and find that perfect job that like really is equal to your like what you're worth and all that stuff, you know, is maybe that is a unicorn, and maybe that's tough to find. And I don't think that there is anything negative, and I'm not saying there's not that there's anything negative, but like maybe there's something there to kind of just, you know, suck it up and kind of grind for that time, so then that you can cherry pick that unicorn job like 2 years later. You know, there's so many people out of college that are not with their company after 1 year out of college, like or after with their first company. And I think, I don't know what that person's situation was, but I do think it is one of those weird things where like that toxicity can, just because it's toxic and shitty doesn't mean it's like, if you can find something else, go for it. That's definitely cool. But I don't think it's like the worst option. Like I don't think like it's like you're still building experience, which does matter, unfortunately or fortunately, whatever. Like on the resume, building the resume stuff does matter. Yeah. So I don't know. This is perfect segue here. Well, not really a segue, but in reference to the Modern Warfare 2 rap that just came out, the first line of the rap is, "I'm a product of the culture of crunch." Mm-hmm. And that was true, because guess what? My most formative years as a producer, I think, were probably the early days in college, where I didn't even realize I was grinding. I was in crunch culture of music, just making beats. Yeah. So even though I just said a little while ago, employers can really take advantage of that whole like, you know, you've got to earn your keep type culture, I am pro grind. I'm pro crunch culture. How about that? Huh? Pro crunch, do it. Grind yourself to death. Speaking of nuance, like this is something of nuance. I think. I think there, like I don't know, and it also could also, maybe it's already a dated fucking perspective. I don't know. Yeah. But it's also, I think, been a concept for as long as people have been having a trade, like apprentices and like
take advantage of
interns and all these different things. It's like, but it's almost like a rite of passage in a sense too, which doesn't make it okay, but it's like. I don't know. Like I don't feel that negative towards those 2 years of grind. Yeah. Like they sucked, and I don't want to do that again. Mm-hmm. But it's like, cool. You know, that was part of my journey. It was very productive, and there's a lot of things I take away from it every day. So it's like net positive. Cool. Yeah. You know, and there are ones that aren't positive. Like there's probably pretty shitty situations, but I don't know. I don't know what we haven't made clear theses, but I think we've made points that maybe you can derive something from. But
the point is, you always got to be doing something. There's no such thing as menial labor, only menial ideas, which means that even if you're working some job that you feel is dead end and it's not going to lead to anything, I know this sounds so old and sage and cheesy, but it will build something in you. Like it's something as simple. All the years I did wait staff, you know, sure, that didn't help me become a better rapper per se, but it made me. I know that's cheesy, but it's true. There's no such thing as menial labor, only menial ideas. People who talk about what they're going to do, who just have ideas, but don't.
What if the labor is an idea that was bad or boring? What if the idea was to be boring labor?
Whoa, dude,
is it okay to be menial then?
If the menial, wait,
what? There's what's the expression?
There's no such thing as menial labor, only menial ideas. To say that, like, as long as you're doing something, even if you don't think it's getting to your end goal, that's going to be more productive than just, like, not doing anything and talking about your ideas.
I was trying to, like...
You're trying to
wordsmith around it.
You're trying to pretzel what I'm saying,
yeah,
dude. You're trying to pretzel my quotes, dude.
No, I think there's another one that my dad would always say, or not say, but, like, saying I'm bored was, like, almost a swear word in my house, just because it was, like, there's so much stuff you could do right now. Yeah. And that was before the internet, you know. Like reading, going out and playing Star Wars, why I say Star Wars? Sports, working out, like all these different things. And then today it blows my mind when I do see like Facebook statuses or tweets where people say they're bored. It's like, how?
There's a whole world.
Binge watch something. There's like bad habits that are really easy that won't bore you, that are easy to do. Low barriers that like... It's impossibly bored right now. Yeah. It's almost like so hard to be bored that it's like hard to truly disconnect and like chill out.
That's the other thing. There's so much good content, good games, good media to consume.
So many good board games. There's good.
I hate board games.
I'm not like a board gamer, but just the thing is like there's so much of everything.
How many times do you think some like old guys made the joke? They call them board games for a reason. How many times do you think that joke's been made in the course of humanity? Like millions or thousands?
Millions.
Millions, you think?
Yeah. You know how many dads there are?
Oh, that's true. Yeah, it would be millions. They call them board games for a reason.
I don't know. Like I like board games. Like obviously like D&D. Take that out of the equation. But like anything on the table, I typically like tabletop stuff as long as it's something that like it's easy, I can grasp, quick setup. Could be, you're not committed for a few hours. Like it could be a 15-minute thing. It could be a 3-hour thing because you're having a good time, you know? So it's like, I don't know. I have my staples that I like, but I'm not like a board game fan, I guess.
Settlers of Catan.
I mean,
I feel like you're good at that game.
I've never played it. I would love to play it, but like that's an example. Like I'm not like I don't know. I'm not like looking for board games. Like to play, like there's people make it their hobby. There's like bars that do it, like which is cool. And I like there's a part of me that does want to, but it's like, you know what? I'm gonna stick to the ones I know and play with like my family and friends that we all know those games, and I'm gonna sink my kind of tabletop time into just D&D homebrewing.
I was gonna say D&D is kind of a board game, and I do play that. Yeah, D&D is different. Also, I was gonna give a little shout out if our buddy Jerry is listening. He is a huge Settlers of Catan fan, so I know he just popped a boner if he's listening. Just still got a Catan boner, but he would love to play you in that. I'm sure that would be, you guys would be two titans of strategy and war. That would be entertaining to watch.
Speaking of strategy and stuff, I think this is going way back to Call of Duty, but like obviously it's like netcode and like skill of like who shoots the mans faster in Call of Duty.
Oh, netcode.
But I love the moments in COD where you outsmarted or outmaneuvered someone.
Yes.
And the cat and mouse and you won. And then when you also get beat, it's like you're like logging that and like trying to figure out, okay.
Well, this is what he did. He knew I was going to be here. Yeah.
Like that's when Call of Duty, that's when any kind of game's at its best. But Call of Duty, I've been noticing I can get a lot of that in this game.
Yeah. There's
still a lot of like getting shot in the back, which is not fun.
Yeah, I don't like that, but I know it's Call of Duty, and based on the way the game is, I get that happens a lot. But it is super satisfying. I said this to you when we were playing the other day that like I am obviously not the most skilled gamer, but Call of Duty just is designed to make you feel skilled because it's so fast. So it makes me feel cool off the bat, and which is already great. The hit marker noises, the whole thing is so polished and amazing, and of course it is because it's Infinity Ward. But what I do love are those moments where like I feel like even though I'm still stunted youth, I'm a dingus full time. Being older and having some gaming experience under my belt, those few moments where I feel like, oh, this dude who I was facing off against, who was a total Chad, who was objectively, technically better than me, lost to me because of my age and wisdom, and I knew how to outsmart him. Like, those few moments that it does happen to me are so satisfying. It's just like, it's great. It's great.
But also on the flip side, seeing when people do stupid things and recognizing they're doing something stupid and taking advantage of that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, sticking their gun past the wall.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, I know you're there. Now I'm going to, I don't know, there's something like that. Or, again, going out the window instead of standing back away from the window.
Yeah.
You still have the same vantage point out. Now I just don't know you're there. You're a little bit in the darkness,
Mm-hmm.
Some stuff, I don't know. It's just fun. And it's cool when that stuff can kind of translate to a video game, because then it does matter more than just the skill. It's like kind of being smart and putting yourself in the right place. There's so many times where I run out and I get killed, and like, that was dumb of me.
Yeah.
Shouldn't just run out, or should check. I don't know. There's different things like that. It's I don't know. I'm noticing that more with this COD. Maybe it's just I'm more cognizant of now, but that's been a fun element. Is the mind games in it too? Or
I think that's the big thing for me, is that, and it's partly because I didn't play that much COD when I was younger, is I've become more cognizant of it. Like, again, specifically for me, I've like started to be like, oh, my strategy's a little better. I wouldn't say my technical gaming skill has changed. Like, in terms of how well I can aim hasn't changed probably the entire time of my life, but just knowing where to run and when to look, little things like that, I've noticed I've just naturally become better at.
I've noticed your game sense is really good. Like, I've been able to live because you watched a corner that I wasn't watching, and like, there's been a few times, you're not usually with each other in COD, but the few times we are, like, our survivability is really good, and like, there's a good like kind of covering of corners, and like, I don't know. It's cool.
Yeah.
I've definitely noticed it.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of moments like that with you, and just in this new COD, just in the multiplayer, where like I'm walking with some guy, see him looking that way, I know I'm gonna be safe or at least be alerted from this angle, and just all those little things adding up, and just being a better operator, dude.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I think we're gonna go play Call of Duty right after this podcast. Yeah. Because I'm ready to get back into it. We're about to. We hit an hour perfectly.
I think we're good.
Unless there's anything else you wanted to talk about.
I think JT Music, huge Elon Musk fans.
We're gonna drop we're huge Elon Musk fans, but we also hate him, so we're dropping a diss track on.
I was
Elon
being sarcastic.
Musk.
I wouldn't call myself a huge Elon Musk fan anymore.
No, yeah.
I don't even know if I just like, I thought I was like, big cool Tesla, like, I have a Tesla, I thought it was cool what he did.
Yeah.
Just like a cool idea of like a real life Iron Man to an extent, but now he's like more like a real life Lex Luthor.
Yep, that's the sad
and
thing.
I said that facetiously. I wanted to go out facetiously, but you backed it up a little bit too much, where I was like, no, I didn't actually mean it like that.
Nah, he's just
no, Twitter or nerdcore beef, weird. Elon Musk, stop, chill out, take a break, recalibrate. Call of Duty good, single player not good, and we're sage gamers now. I think that's about the wrap up.
Wise as heck.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, thank you all for hanging out. We'll see you next time. Bye.